us what this entire essay is going to be about. What do we have in our introduction that tells us what the entire essay is going to be about?
All right, Alvestina says thesis statement.
Yes, good job, Elvestina. You guys are correct. Your thesis statement, right? Now, remember we said if you don't have a thesis statement, that means you do not, your essay is one, it's not organized. Two, we don't know what the essay is going to be about until we read the entire essay, which that's a problem, right, for your reader. And then we should have your, remember we said we should have your supporting points. Now, through doing a little more research on thesis statement, Mr. Joaquin and Mr. Toot, I don't know if you know, but sometimes you don't have to necessarily put your 3 points in the same sentence as a thesis statement. It can actually come after, right? So even though you should, first of all, at the end of your introduction, you should have your thesis statement. And after your sentence, which is your thesis statement, then you can put the sentence that have your 3 main points that the entire essay is going to be or organized based on, okay? And then you have your body, which is your supporting paragraphs. That means everything, all of your subtopics. Each paragraph is going to be about a particular subtopic. Then we have your conclusion. What do we do in your conclusion, students? What do we do in the conclusion? Or what should we have in your conclusion? What should you have in your conclusion, students?
On Saturday at 4 p.m., we had our grade check on Teams where everybody's given a number and they get on the grade.
Okay, no one is, all right. Laurent says summarization of the thesis statement.
Okay. And I see someone else here said you restate the thesis statement, so you guys are correct. Now remember, we said that you're not going to use the exact same words that was in your introduction for your thesis statement, but you are going to change up your words, which is restate your thesis statement, okay? All right, so let's get moving. So we're just going to do a little bit of recap. So we have 3 parts of an essay. We said this, our introduction, topic, sentence, thesis statement, body, which is your supporting paragraphs, and conclusion, which is you restate your thesis statement. Why are some people in Thursday meeting?
Yeah, I'm trying to deal with that right now.
Okay, so today, students, remember we went over, recall 3 basic parts of essay. We did that again. Explain the purpose of an expository essay. We did that last week. Now, this week, we're going to focus. This week, we're looking at students will be able to construct a clear, concise thesis statement based on one of the prompts provided during the lesson. So today, we're actually going to go through a few examples of thesis statement, and we're going to actually explain more what our thesis statement, okay? All right, and this is our purpose if you did not remember. So the purpose of expository essay is writing or gives information about, explains or exposes its audience to a topic. All right, and remember this was our essay that we went over, and this essay, can anyone tell me what this essay was about? What were the 3 main points in your supporting paragraph? Let me see if anyone have good memory. What did we review in that essay? What were the 3 main points we talk about in our body paragraphs? Let's see if you remember. Anyone? All right, so I see someone said camouflage. Yes, we spoke about camouflage. And what animals were you, what animals camouflage themselves? What animals camouflage themselves? That we spoke about in the passage. Yes, we talk about octopus, we talk about lizard, but we're talking about what animals camouflage themselves inside of the passage. And can you give me the example that was used in the passage to support? Cuttlefish. Yes, cuttlefish
What
was one of
else?
them.
There's another one.
It
What's
was
up?
another one too.
What's up, Doc?
What's the other one? I mean, Mr. Walking just gave you a line. My goodness. I mean, that's hint, hint, eh?
Mm-hmm.
A winter cat? Who talking
What?
about any winter cat?
What is that?
I think I've learned that from a cartoon I watched with my son, a winter cat. They actually blend in with the snow, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. But that was not in the passage or the paragraph. Remember we said a bunny. What type of bunny?
Yes, a bunny.
What type of rabbit?
Right, so back to the topic, so we can.
Snowshoe rabbit. You are correct.
Good
Okay,
job.
and the snowshoe rabbit blending in the summer, change color in the summer, and they blend in the winter as well. Okay. Now, what was our third paragraph about? So remember, my introduction was the first. Our first supporting paragraph was the second. What was the third one about?
And then we have the do's and don'ts and saying. So it says that we have bodies and treasures.
Could you recall what the third one was about?
So gambling, dance, singing, sports, candy sales, and many other activities of expressing. The singing point is an important.
Yeah, the whole essay is about ways animals protect themselves, remember? But what do we remember? What was the third point? What was the second point? Sorry. So the first point was they camouflage themselves. What was the second point? What ways did animals use to protect themselves? No, that was the last paragraph. That was the last supporting point. That's Elvistina. What was the second one? That was the
Eric
third
has,
one, Elvistina.
Eric has regrowing limbs.
Oh, that's Eric. Eric, that was the third one. What was the second one? Courtney Cousins. That's your name. Your hand is up. You can type in the chat. Can anyone recall? Remember, we talk about a skunk. What did we say the skunk does? What did we say the skunk does? Spray odor,
Yeah.
yes. But what did the passage say about spraying odor? It uses a particular word, start with C. Yes, so use a chemical spray that actually causes what? What does it do to the predators when it's actually sprayed? It's sprayed from underneath the skunk's tail. What does it do? How does it affect the predator? Burns their eyes. Good, good, yes. And what else information did I tell you? Yes, it causes them to not be able to breathe how they should.
Yep.
Good job. So you guys are correct. Oh, and it was another one. I don't know if you guys saw so far. What was the other one? It was another animal that uses certain something to actually defend themselves against predators. What was the other animal? An octopus. And what does an octopus do? What did it do to protect themselves or defend themselves against predators? Yes, they spray ink. Good job. And what did the ink do? What did the ink do? It covers. What do you mean cover? Yes, good job. Someone said the ink clouds the
Yeah,
water.
clouds the water.
That's right, which gives them the opportunity to escape.
How did it look? How did I perform?
All right, good. It's the inky fluid in front of the attackers. It clouds the water and lets the octopus escape. Remember, we said that. Now, what was the third one? Eric, let the cat out of the bag. What was the third one, students? What was the third one?
All right, so the song I just sang, it talks as if but if you look at how any singer sings, they sing it.
What was the third one?
We can't just be there.
What was the third supporting point?
Uh, don't see anything yet.
All right, so Larika said releasing of a tail to escape. Yes.
Hmm.
Eric said to grow limbs. Yes. Tails fall off. Yes, you are correct. Now, what animals did we talk about that actually let their tail go to release their tail to escape their predators? What animal did we see inside of the passage? A lizard. Yes, Elvisina. Good. Now, what animal did we say actually grows into, once they release a limb, the limb grows into another animal, the exact same animal? Did someone, I think that was, yes, Alexander and Lashonda, you are correct. A starfish. Good. Now, okay, I think that's the thesis statement. Okay, students, now this is the conclusion. What is the restated thesis statement in our, what did we say our restated thesis statement is within our concluding paragraph? Who can be the first one to let us know? And I don't want to hear the last one or the middle one or the first one. I don't want to hear that. Remember, we said you can use the three dots. Once you start it, then you can use the three dots. What was the sentence that we identify as our restated thesis statement? Okay, go on.
Alyssa says, however, without their amazing defenses, some animals would not survive. Laurent says, without their
Yes.
ellipsis. Good job, guys.
Good job. Yes, you are correct. Because remember, we said that it sums up the entire essay. It sums up or it restates our thesis statement. Okay? So you are correct. Now, let's move on. Oh, I think this one was moved around. Okay. So I'm going to read up the slide and then I'm going to explain a bit more, okay? So now we are going to learn about something new today. The the expository essay, which we have our thesis statement. A thesis statement is a complete sentence that states the focus of an essay. All good expositions should have a thesis statement in the introduction. An example of a good thesis statement reads something like this. There are various ways to fight obesity, such as cleaning up your diet, exercising regularly, and by seeking medical help for conditions that can contribute to it. Now, students, we did say our thesis statement can be completed in, or it should be and a sentence, right? When we do our introduction. Now, based on your thesis statement, like we said before, and we can't stress this enough. Your thesis statement tells your reader, which is either your teacher, your friend, your parents, even if you're in a competition, your thesis statement tells the reader, whomever it is, what this essay is going to be focusing on, right? And remember, we said that your thesis statement should always be in your introduction. Now, where do we say your thesis statement commonly is in the introduction? Where is it? Where do we normally find the thesis statement in your introduction, students? Where do it normally be? Or where is the best place to actually put your thesis statement? In your introduction.
Don't be singing like this all the time. Just don't do that.
Yes, you are correct. At the end.
Yes.
You are correct. At the end, and yes, majority of the time, it is your last sentence, if not all, right? So, reason why we say at the end of your introduction is because normally, Mr. Joaquin can assist me with this if he wants to. Normally, when we do our introduction, we always have our topic sentence, then we have our hook, right, Mr. Joaquin?
Yes.
Now, when you have your hook, what do you think the purpose of a hook is in your introduction? Why do you think we call it a hook? Why do you think you should have a hook? And what do you think a hook is?
Don't scream. Don't use recreational drugs. Don't try to change your natural.
So someone said keeps your reader reading. Okay, good. Yes. So your hook is to, capture, grasp your reader's attention. Am I right, Mr. Joaquin?
Yes. You have to.
All right. So with that hook, you're able to draw them in because, like Mr. Joaquin and Ms. Toot said before, if you do not have a good introduction, if you do not have a hook, if you do not have an attention grabber, then listen to me. By the time I finish reading your introduction, I am not even interested to read the entire essay.
Nope.
And I think me, Ms. Toot, and Mr. Joaquin can say that based on dealing with national examinations.
Mm-hmm. And even
Right. Go ahead,
even,
Mr. Joaquin.
even marking normally,
Yes.
just like
Yes.
like in school marking is like the same thing.
Yes. And the reason why Mr. Walking is saying even with marking within the school, even when we mark your work, the reason why we said it is because what you do inside school is the exact same thing you do in national examination. Don't think for a minute that when you go in national examination, your writing all of a sudden is going to change.
Without
It's going,
practice.
thank you. It's
Yeah,
going to be the
and
same thing that you gave us, especially like Ms. Toot said, if you don't practice. Go ahead,
right.
Mr. Walking.
Yeah, and I just want to say, grade 11, this is just consider this some constructive criticism. Constructive. All right. I'm not trying to tear anyone down. But the problem is most students at the high school level that I've dealt with, they're very lazy when it comes to writing. And I used to blame myself a lot and say, boy, maybe I'm not doing a good job communicating the ideas, but it's not that. The problem is a lot of students they don't care enough to execute what they are taught.
Yes.
It's not that they don't understand. It's not that teachers don't take time or to painstakingly explain or re-explain these techniques, these skills, so the students can use them. That the students just I don't it's too much work. Like I'll just keep doing it the way I was doing it before. That's easier.
Yep.
But they want the A's, they want the B's for the essay. And then when they don't get them, I don't like writing essay because I don't do good on them. Tell on them because you're not trying to employ the techniques that you've been taught.
That's right.
You feel me?
And
So
then go ahead, Ms. Walking.
no, that's fine.
I was thinking that even so, when I realized even with them that even when we teach them certain things, they still do not apply what is taught, like you said, to their writing. So for instance, everything is in isolation with them. Now we're literally going through thesis statements, we're going through essays, showing them how it should be done. This should be applied when you write.
Mm-hmm.
You should use what you learn in this class, and when it's time for you to actually write an essay, this should be the first thing that you go back to, or first thing that you should remember. How to write a good and effective essay based on the examples you've seen inside class. And this is why we're showing you so much examples. So you don't have the excuse of saying that I've never seen how a thesis statement is supposed to be written. I've never seen what you put in a thesis statement. I don't know what a thesis statement is. So this is why we're doing it, right? Also, so let's look at our example again. There are various ways to fight obesity, such as cleaning up your diet, exercising regularly, and by seeking medical help for conditions that can contribute to it. Now, can you guys identify our first point that we would be talking about in our essay? Can you identify the first point that we will be talking about in this particular essay? If this was in a introduction, what would be the first point that the reader would be seeing in the body paragraph? What do you think the first paragraph would be talking about?
I'm sorry, Mrs. Dennis, but guys, I also pasted my list, my class list in the chat, and I'm about to put the my Google Classroom code in there. So if you see your name and you still haven't joined my class, please do.
And sorry, Miss Dennis, your class is already, I mean, you already have like your limit, right?
For me?
Yeah, with the numbers in your class.
Yeah. Why would happen? Another student?
Okay. Because we have a new student just joined. Well, just new to C.C.Sweeting as well.
You mean that's Courtney?
Yes.
Yeah, the last cousin.
Courtney, yes.
You could let them in. You could let them in my class if that's the case.
Okay.
If you're telling me what I think you're telling me.
No, I don't want your list to be so.
Well, she can join my class. So I don't mind.
Okay.
She can join my class because Dennis's
Yeah, it don't
list
matter.
is look.
Yeah.
Her list is looking like a clown car right now.
Okay, sorry. So Courtney, Mr. Joaquin just put his classroom code. The first thing you need to do is join Google Classroom and then put in that code there so you can see all of the assignments and all of the notices that he posted. Sorry, Miss Dennis.
No problem. We're getting ready to wrap up in a few minutes anyway.
Okay.
So students, okay, so yes, you are correct. So I see some person said cleaning up your diet. Good job. So that is what your first body paragraph is going to be talking about, cleaning up your diet. What is the second body paragraph is going to be talking about? What do you think the second body paragraph is going to be talking about, students, based on the CC statement?
No, what happened? I'm actually going to explain that right now. I'm going to explain that right now.
So remember, these are ways to fight obesity, right?
Yes, Taylor.
Cleaning up your diet is our first body paragraph. What's the second body paragraph going to be talking about? Good job. Someone said exercising regularly. Yes, you are correct.
Absolutely.
Now, if that is our second body paragraph, yes, you guys are correct. What would be our last body paragraph? What would our last body paragraph be talking about? What about medical help? What about medical help? Come on now, you can't just say medical help. What about medical help? Seeking medical help for what? So I think someone said it's seeking medical help for conditions that can contribute to it, right? So seeking medical help, all right, for conditions that contribute to obesity. Now let's move on. Thesis statement. And the reason I think Mr. Joaquin put these different, pictures, because this is exactly what your face looks like when we say thesis statement. Some of you are like, what? Some of you are like, huh? right? So and the reason why we're going over is because a lot of you were like, what you talking about? Okay, so yes. Good pitches, Mr. Walking. Good job.
Yes.
So now we are going to learn about something new today, the expository, which are our thesis statement. This is the complete sentence that states the focus of the essay. All good compositions should have a thesis statement in the introduction. We said that and we cannot, we keep stretching that. All right, so this is an example that we went over, right? So the various ways to fight obesity, we said clean up your diet, exercising regularly, and by seeking medical help for conditions that contribute to it. Then choose one of the following topics and write an expository thesis statement. Okay, but before we get to that, let's look at another example of a good thesis statement would be individuals can stay safe during the perilous pandemic, right, Mr. Walking? I'm pronouncing that correct, right?
I mean, perilous.
Perilous.
Yeah.
Perilous.
Mhm.
Sorry. See, we learn from each
I
other.
almost can see an eye there too. It almost looks like an eye after that if I don't look closely enough.
Right? So students, we all learn from each other. Like just now I was like, huh? Okay, let me ask one of my colleagues. There's nothing wrong with finding out if you're correct or not. As teachers, we do it all the time because we're not perfect.
No,
Okay?
be right.
So during this pandemic, by continuing to wear masks, regularly sanitizing and washing their hands, remaining socially distant from others, and running errands only when necessary. So I'm going to read that again. Individuals can stay safe during this perilous pandemic by continuing to wear a mask, regularly sanitize and wash their hands, remaining socially distant from others, and running errands only when necessary. Now, can you guys tell me how many points we're talking about in this particular thesis statement? How many points do we have to speak about? How many points would we see in our body paragraph based on this thesis statement? I see someone said 5. Anyone else? I see someone said 5. I see another person said 4.
All right.
Ms. Dennis, can you repeat the question again, please?
I'm asking them how many. So we have our thesis statement. How many points or how many paragraphs based on the thesis statement that we would have in an essay if we go based on the thesis statement?
Okay, in
how
the
many
entire
points
essay. All right.
have in there? Yes.
Okay.
So I see a lot of persons saying 5 and 4, right?
Yes. Oh, I see. I'm seeing more 5.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of 5s.
4s. Mr. Joaquin, can you tell us how many points is? Because I think I know.
Now let me tell you. Now, everyone is right, because it depends on how you do this. You can either have 4 or 5 points.
Good.
Right?
That's right.
The only reason you see sanitizing and washing hands is because, to be honest,
they're the same family, if you ask me. But
not only are they the same family, it's recommended that if you can wash your hands, wash them.
Mm-hmm.
If you're sanitizing them, like if you are at home, it's better to wash your hands
and sanitize.
Right? So that's the only reason I put that there. Now you can lump them together, like Mrs. Dennis said, in one paragraph, or you can, if you want to separate them, you can separate them. That is also fine. But they are very closely related to keep staying safe in perilous and scary times.
Yes. Right? Thank you, Mr. Joaquin. So if I was getting ready to use this CC statement to actually write an entire essay, I would have actually put it into 4. Because
I would as well.
Because even within your paragraph, you could use regular sanitizing and washing your hands. That can be one paragraph. And the thing is, Mr. Joaquin just gave you a pointer of how you can actually use that in a paragraph, because he said it himself. The recommendation is if you can wash your hands of your home or you're somewhere where you can wash your hands, do that rather than sanitizing, but only if you're somewhere where you cannot wash your hands, you can sanitize. So there's actually 4 or 5 pointers here. You are correct, students. Now, this is
Minutes,
what I
Miss
need you to do.
Dennis. Sorry.
Go ahead.
2 minutes.
Okay,
Time.
students, this is what I need you to do. I need you to screenshot this page right here. I need you to choose one of the topics, and each of us are going to put in our, I don't know if Mr. Joaquin or Ms. Tudor, they're going to agree with me. But what you can do is you can actually write a thesis statement based on one of the topics. And that is where we are able to see if you're on the right track or not. Okay? So this is a good way to see if you can actually write an effective thesis statement.
And yeah, we're gonna let them email them to us.
I was thinking what we can do
Google
is
Classroom?
in Google Classroom, we just could write, put the assignment in the Google
Yes.
Classroom, and they can actually send it to us through, using a Word document or a Docs document.
Okay, that's fine.
So that's the best thing to do. And once we review it, we'll be able to say if you're on the right track or not, just based on your
Can they
thesis.
comment on it? And then maybe
Yeah, we can comment on it as well. Once
Yeah.
they put it through